Police cautions truck drivers to refrain from passing through the Mount Morris Public Road onto the Jones Road as parts of the Jones Road begin to deteriorate. We'll have details to this story and more in the National Report.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight candles will do thin stuff. Garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Welcome back. With the details to the news for Monday, November 28th, 2022, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. The Traffic Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force is very concerned with the non-adherence of truck drivers who continue to ignore the traffic signs posted at the entrance to Mount Morris. The signs clearly state no trucks allowed and they should not use the Mount Morris Public Road onto Jones Road exiting at Happy Hill. Over the weekend, the police headquarters issued a public notice citing sections of the road that are now broken, which can become extremely dangerous. Head of the Traffic Department, Inspector Randall Batiste, in an interview with the GIS on Monday, says due to the fragile nature of the road, constant passage of heavy vehicles may worsen conditions, which will result in the area becoming impassable.
We want to, from a Royal Grenada Police Force standpoint, we want to re-emphasize and remind the truck drivers that this road is totally forbidden to trucks. There is a police notice there that clearly states no trucks allowed. We continue to see truck drivers breach that notice, and I want to let the truck drivers know more than ever the RGPF will be strongly enforcing the no trucks allowed notice up there, taking into consideration the safety of persons along that road, taking into consideration the further damages that these trucks can contribute to that road, knowing besides Grenville, Willis, that's the only route for buses traversing along the western corridor.
Inspector Batiste says if truck drivers continue to disobey the traffic warning, the results will be dire for both residents and motorists.
It's very important that truck drivers comply with this notice. Those of you who were not doing so before, it is more than needed now, taking into consideration the present situation of the road and what you can contribute further to causing more damage to that road. Just to remind drivers that it is an offense for anyone who fails to comply with an indication given by a traffic sign or traffic notice. In that situation, the sign there, it's a notice saying no trucks allowed. If someone fails to comply with that notice, they can be ticketed, they can be charged, or they can be arrested. We really, as a law enforcement agency, we really don't want it to reach to that stage where we have to charge persons or arrest persons, but the only how that cannot happen if we get full compliance from all truck drivers.
The other alternative route will be through the Grenville Vale, New Hampshire route, as the Moncuma Road is not yet complete.
Anyone that is observed committing such offense, we will definitely give you the full ambits of the law, because we take this very serious based on the present situation now in regards to that road. What was done thus far, because it's only as recent as yesterday, Sunday, it was brought to my attention. We went there, we put a cone, but I would have reached out to the relevant authority, meaning the CTO, Chief Technical Officer of the Ministry of Works, and she gave me all assurance they will step in and do what is required to ensure that drivers are given early notice and warning and assess the situation and take the necessary steps to remedy it.
Moving along, Labour Commissioner Mrs. Valerie Thomas on Friday witnessed her first signing of a collective agreement at the Ministry of Labour conference room since taking up the job as Labour Commissioner on November 3, 2022. An addendum to the industrial agreement between the Commercial and Industrial Workers Union and Steels Auto Supplies was signed last Friday, November 25th. The agreement came into force as of April 1st, 2018 until March 31st, 2021, and will thereafter renew itself from year to year subject to 60 days notice in writing of intention to amend by either party.
It's a pleasure to be part of that signing where both parties had sat and negotiated in good faith, and to continue to keep that peace, the industrial peace within the organization, so that the organization, both parties can grow. Many of the workers at the Steels Auto Supplies can enjoy a good and terms and conditions of employment, and likewise you can get the best out of your workers.
Approximately 50 workers are to benefit from salary increases of 2% every year for the 3 years of the addendum. George Mason is the president of the Commercial and Industrial Workers Union, bargaining agent for the workers at Steels Auto.
We have had over 20-something years of good industrial relations. I think it's only twice in recent times we have got to the Labour Commissioner. But we have to admit that we are not satisfied with his recommendation, but we agreed. It is a 3-year agreement. 3-year agreement, and it covers 6% for the 3 years, 2% each year.
Jonathan Steele, General Manager at Steels Auto Supply, signed on behalf of the company.
We allow ourselves to always have discussions with the union, following our procedures, having our discussions, and ensuring that while we're doing that, we do not damage the employees and the company and our relationship with the community, because our most important thing is to get to a resolution. And being a small nation, many times when things happen, we have to realize that we must discuss it, do the proper procedures, and get to a proper agreement where we can ensure that employees are happy and the company is happy, and there is longevity between both.
Mrs. Thomas is the first woman to serve as Labour Commissioner in Grenada and brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the position, having worked extensively in the field of labour relations. A call to unite against gender-based violence. This is the wake of this year's observance of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. The period November 25th to December 10th holds 2 significant dates. November 25th is observed as International Day Against Violence Against Women, and December 10th is International Human Rights Day. Women in the Caribbean, according to the National Prevalence Survey on Intimate Partner Violence, shows women ages 15 to 64 experience some form of violence in their lives. Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas, Minister of State with responsibility for social development and gender affairs, says we must unite if we are to experience change.
Unfortunately, we are living in a time where there is an epidemic of crime against our women and children. It is a multifaceted problem needing a multidisciplinary approach, and we are all called to action to address this pressing national issue that affects all of us. We must remain resolute in our fight to end gender-based violence against our women and girls.
Based on a survey conducted in Grenada in 2018, at least 64% of women experience physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence. Senator said in this light, efforts must be intensified.
In 2018, the Women's Health and Life Experience Survey conducted in Grenada indicated that the lifetime prevalence of physical and/or sexual intimate partner violence is 29%. This speaks to an alarming situation that 1 in every 4 Grenadian women has suffered physical violence at some point in their life. It heralds the call for us to continue to intensify our efforts and move swiftly towards achieving a nation free of abuse of all forms. Our collective action must be accelerated. We need gatekeepers in communities across our nation. No space should be receptive to hiding perpetrators. We need perpetrators' accountability. We need to be more responsible in the media landscape, as the media is critical in shaping minds, particularly our young minds, the future of our dear nation.
Observance for 16 days of activism kicked off on November 25th and will end on December 10th. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
The Division of Culture within the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture presents its end-of-year concert, showcasing talents from various schools and community groups. Join us at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, November 30th at the Grenada Trade Center to experience cultural expressions through the art of dance, music, choral speaking and so much more. Admission $5, children, adults 10. Support the future of culture at the Division of Culture's end-of-year concert, a concert showcasing the best of Grenada's emerging talents. See you there.
Welcome back. Motorists are urged to drive within the stipulated speed limits and at speeds that one can control on the nation's road. This as the RGPF Traffic Department was called to address a number of vehicular accidents on the weekend. Head of the Traffic Department, Inspector Randall Batiste, says the RGPF will be stepping up its operations, especially in areas where accidents are known to occur. Inspector Batiste says the statistics are alarming at this time and some just don't seem to understand the term due care and caution.
This is becoming a great concern for our GPF because, as you rightfully said, we continue to inform the public as to the dangers of speeding and reminding them as to the speed limit that they're supposed to be driving under. So we just want to ask of the motoring public again to drive within the speed limit, realizing that speeding could only contribute to serious accidents. Person's life can be lost and so forth, and this could be a real problem for us from our GPF standpoint. We will be stepping up our operations with reference to those accident-prone areas where we realize speeding is the contributing factor. We will step up our game in having regular speed checks in that area to see how much we can curb the drivers that are speeding on our roads. But we want to encourage drivers. We look forward to your compliance as it relates to driving within the speed limit.
And finally in the news, there is only a few days left in an online ICT survey currently being circulated among secondary schools across the island to evaluate the extent of internet coverage and the state of telecommunications in Grenada. It is being administered by the National Telecommunications Regulatory Commission through the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture and ends on Friday, December 2nd. It is a household survey which shall be completed by the head of the household, and principals are expected to share the relevant information with parents and guardians. There is also a digital flyer with a clickable link attached and a direct link to survey www.ntrc.gd/survey. This ministry encourages everyone within the target audience to fully participate in the exercise. And with that story, we come to the end of the National Report for Monday, November 28th, 2022. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sherry Ann Noel, thanking you for viewing.